Welcome back to my little YouTube series, and today I'm on La Palma, and as you can hear, we're close to the erupting volcano.
Volcano research on YouTube. Meet Valentin Troll.
Hey, hello, good to see you, thank you.
Why did you start using YouTube?
Well, it started off with the burdens of teaching, and as a geologist I teach about rocks, so I started with showing rocks to students, and the hands-on experience has been really good for the students, but I had to pick up the rocks from the rock store every time, again and again. Every year I had to bring the rocks backwards and forwards, so I realized now if I take a video, this will be a lot better for me, that I don't have to pick the rocks up every time, and it helps the students when they revise for the exams, because then they can access that material. So I started to do little rock observation videos, very simple. And I needed some way to store them and make them accessible for the students. And YouTube was there, so I just started to do that. And from there it grew. Suddenly I realized if you have snippets of information, short lecture sequences, you can put that there. And then you realize, oh, I'm traveling to this or that place, and there's a bit of information from a field trip or so. And since you usually carry a mobile phone with you, suddenly the technology was at a level that it was very easy to do that. And it just grew from there. People liked it, I got very positive feedback, and then I continued doing it. And then COVID came, and this really saw the YouTube channel grow, because then the online interaction grew a lot stronger with loads of people, and from there the channel took off and it became much, much bigger than I ever thought it would be. I just use my mobile phone, and of course in the office when I record a lecture or so, I use Zoom to record it with a little camera on the computer. And this is one of my secrets. I keep it technically really, really simple. I am not a technical wizard, and it's not my aspiration to be technically very proficient. It's about the content. This is my marketing strategy. It's content, and the rest is not as sophisticated. I know you can do a lot more in YouTube with videos and things and animations, but I don't go there. I don't actually have the time for that. So.
What kind of videos do you publish?
Now I do travel videos as well, where I show a short feature like an outcrop, a rock situation, where I explain something. I like the videos to be short, a few minutes only, sometimes even less than a minute. And I started a few years ago to work with a kindergarten, and there it's also very good to talk about simple things, about simple science, about fundamental truth in science, and bring this to children at a very early age. And then, of course, I sometimes do interviews with colleagues. If they publish an exciting paper, or if there is some eruption going on, then I would talk and pick their brains. And this is also very successful. People seem to enjoy to be the fly on the wall when scientists talk and learn about how they think. So a whole range of videos trying to cater for different age groups, different experience levels as well, and also trying to enthuse people about geoscience in general.
Who do you want to reach?
That's part of the issue. I started off trying to work for my students here in the department directly, but it now grew into I would call it a lifelong learning experience. There's videos that are made for small learners or young learners, like kids in kindergarten, all the way through university students, up to people who had some experience in geoscience but are now doing something else, and partly also a large group is people who are now retired, and they take an interest in that. And sometimes I hear people making comments, or I see people making comments about that they enjoy coming on these travels that they can't do themselves. And when I go on expedition, you can actually take a lot of people with you, at least visually, with you, and this is something that is very nice in a way. I can bring this closer to people. So this is when people get a little addicted to news and things like that, they look, where's the next problem? And I'm trying to do this a little calmer. I don't like this emotional rush necessarily. I'm excited about phenomena, but I don't want to use fear as a way of attracting an audience. And this is where the risk aspect we discussed comes in. I don't like to use fear. I actually try to tell myself, if it's not positive, if I'm not able to send a positive message, then you have to think twice. Sometimes, of course, there is a dramatic message, like destroyed houses or drama. I filmed some things about rescue teams rescuing animals during the La Palma eruption. And there is, of course, a very sincere aspect to it. And sometimes when people are evacuated, it's not there is a dramatic aspect there. But I'm trying to also look at the positive side. The people are now evacuated. They are brought to safety. These animals are rescued. So there is efforts to try to make things better. And I'm sure we can all improve. But these are really big and important steps in order to improve the situation, make people's lives better. And this is the aspect I'm trying to focus on.
What are the advantages of YouTube, you think?
There is a series of advantages. It's very visual, first of all. I think a large fraction of students and learners in general is visually oriented. Of course, there's sound as well, so people who learn by listening, they will actually find this attractive too. And it's very quick. You can do very short snippets of information. We're all very busy people. It's nice to have a fundamental bit of truth in 1 minute. And most people take the time for that, or many people take time for that. Of course, sometimes I record lectures that are a little longer for people who are really, really interested, but the short sequences, they seem to attract more interest. And it's something you can nowadays do very quickly, and you can do it on a mobile phone, and you can upload it from almost everywhere. So during, for example, the Iceland eruption last year or the La Palma eruption 2 years ago, I was actually able to upload things directly after the observation, and a lot of people, they enjoyed the direct reporting from the front line of the eruption, and this made the channel grow a lot, actually. There was a lot of interest in that type of on-site reporting.
Are there any disadvantages, you think?
One problem I struggled with was, after a while I noted that you start to cater to the likes, if you know what I mean. Certain things attract more likes, and you start to intuitively or subconsciously move towards things that attract likes. And I had to kind of slap my wrist after a while and say, that's not what this is about. I want to convey certain sets of information and not cater to a certain kind of, reward system. And we're all like Pavlov's dog. We all respond to likes, and we all appreciate that we are appreciated. So I had to sometimes take myself back and say, no, you would only do that because some people like that. For example, you can be very sensationalist, and people will respond to that. But that's not always the right way to convey useful, practical and scientific information. So I had to pull myself back a little at times and say, no, that's not what you will do. You will actually convey this differently and say this in a somewhat different way. So there is a risk there, and it's easy to get swept away in this current of enthusiasm by some people, or current of interest.
What reaction have you received?
Overwhelmingly positive. Every now and then you get a somewhat awkward kind of message from someone, or someone tries to correct you. And that's okay. I don't mind. I mean, I'm not claiming I'm perfect. Sometimes there's a detail that I get not entirely right, and then usually I respond in a very positive way, and I actually thank people for their interest and for helping me to improve my performance. But the most of the comments I get are really, really positive, in the sense that they are kind of complimenting the way lectures are presented or the information is presented. People are grateful for being taken on journeys they can't do themselves, and every now and then you get a really touching comment where somebody says, oh, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't do trips like this anymore. It's so wonderful that you take me on these expeditions and excursions. I'm really grateful for that. And then you really feel that it's extremely rewarding. And of course, overall, it's a very positive experience, and it's very encouraging to get these comments and have these interactions. But every now and then it's also a bit much. Sometimes some successful videos get hundreds of comments and I can't even read them all at times. So this is the unfortunate side of it. So the interaction is partly limited in that respect.
Do you have any tips for other researchers who would like to make their own videos?
Absolutely. I think videos are a very good way to record information that is repetitively shown. For example, if you teach a course every year, there are certain things you could record and then make available, particularly things that students can use in revision for exams, like information you show in class, like information you show in practical exercises that are otherwise not available. This is something that I think from a student perspective is very good. A lot of people shy away because there is a lot of very technically skilled people out there in the YouTube world, and they put huge amounts of effort in to make it technically very good and perfect even. I would recommend don't do that. If you are trying to be technically perfect, you are putting a lot of emphasis on something that is almost secondary for my purpose as a researcher. My purpose is to bring content. It's the fundamental bit of information, the snippet of truth I'd like to bring across. And that, I think, is important. Also, editing. If you are enjoying editing videos, then that's great. I don't. So I try to film things without cuts. The more cuts you have, the more effort it is. And I try to do one single kind of take. And I don't do them very often. It was actually very funny. One of the students said the other day, I'm really impressed, you just do it once. You do one take and that's it. When I'm on an outcrop with students, I just at the end do a little film of something just to record it. And even if I have a little slip of the tongue or something like that, just get over it and move on. It's about the content. And this is my little recipe. And if I was to be too worried about details, then I couldn't do this. So there is a lot of professional filmmakers out there. They do this really well, and that's their niche or genre. For me, this is different, and I recommend don't try to be technically perfect, because this will cost you a lot of time and will take a lot of your energy, and you're not getting to the real content in the same way.